Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals videogram on problems in Christian marriage. And we've done two previous videos on marriage, one on marriage itself, and then we also did one on remarriage and divorce. And this one's going to look at problems that occur within Christian marriage, but also look at some of the psychological core issues which put different individuals at different places. Again, it's really important for Christian counselors to have some marriage counseling background, to be able to help others through the spiritual stages and to help them move forward with their vow before God, to keep it to death do they part. And one of the ways is helping navigate the difficult waters of marriage throughout the developmental changes of a young couple as they grow together. It's important first to remember that Christian marriage is sacred. It's elevated by God. It's a sacrament which was established at the wedding feast of Cana. It's a vow before God and hence unbreakable. It's only between a man and woman, sacramentally speaking, and it forms the basis of society. It fosters the Trinitarian love between the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, reflected through man, woman, and child, through that love and fulfillment of the divine command to be fruitful and multiply. Love is the key fundamental part of any relationship. So with marriage, love is the key ingredient to promoting that devotion, that fidelity, and that patience. But as we know, individuals are weak and things can go wrong. Adultery, cheating, and betrayal can occur. But despite these issues that lead to arguments, separation, or potential divorce, it is what love that keeps a union together. But unfortunately, one of the biggest problems that wedge a marriage is love and intimacy. And a lot of the things that lead to the adultery, the cheating, the betrayal, the fighting, at its core source is a weakness in love. Now, Christ speaks of different types of love. In English, there's only one word for love, unfortunately, but in Greek, there are multiple. Agape, friendship; eros, passionate; and philia, affectionate or higher level of love itself, for which we show for family and for friends looking for their spiritual welfare. So usually when there's a problem in marriage, it's a weakness within love. And one of the ways that we can really understand love is through Sternberg's triangle, and it's a psychological tool. It's a triangle. It has 3 points, and in between each point there are also three others, and then in the middle it points to the complete view of what love should be in regards to a relationship itself. So at the top of the triangle there is a type of love which is referred to as liking in Sternberg's triangles vocabulary. Liking means there is a type of intimacy. So that type of intimacy can exist between friends, can exist between lovers, can exist between family, but there is a liking, there's an intimacy, an opening of self. Now, romantic love captures a concept on his triangle of passion with intimacy. So individuals who are lovers will exhibit this type of attraction where they like each other, but they're also sexually interested in each other. However, there are some on the triangle that might portray more of what was referred to as a companionate type love, where there is the liking and intimacy and there's commitment, but there isn't that strong sexual passion. And this is something that is seen in many marriages where maybe the passion existed, it died, and there's now just intimacy and commitment. And maybe one might still have the passion and the other might not. Now, this sometimes also occurs in older couples, but it is not as detrimental because first of all, they're older and there's no need to express that way anymore. And there's other ways of expressing that. But in younger couples, this can lead to wandering eyes. Now, there is another type on the triangle of an extreme, which is infatuation, which is just passion, basic lust in itself, where you really don't care for the person, you don't want to be with the person, but there is a lustful attraction of some type. Fatuous love is another term Sternberg uses, and that refers to passion and commitment, which can sometimes happen in a marriage where the couple have mentally grown apart from each other. They don't relate, they don't do things together. They know they have to be together, but there is that passion, but they have no likes to keep them together over the long haul itself. And finally, empty love, just involving commitment. You see many couples go through the motions where there is no sexual attraction, there's no like, they're just together and they feel like they're stuck together in a weird way. There's just that commitment where I'm with you, I'm stuck, this is the best way, it's too difficult to do anything else. So when you're helping individuals through a lot of these external problems, which we'll talk about, usually it stems at its base at love. Is there a weakness in the love? Is it just passion and intimacy? Or is it just intimacy and commitment? Or is it just passion and commitment? Or is it just commitment? And you'll have a stronger understanding of the source of the sickness within the relationship if one of these three things are lacking. And that's where consummate love comes into place. Even though love changes over time and fresh attraction and passion goes with the days, you need to have a consummate love that leads to intimacy, liking each other and wanting to be around each other, commitment, only wanting to be with each other only, and then that passion to express oneself in that way between a man and a woman. When one of these three things is lacking, there's going to be discontent and unfulfillment in some way, which is going to lead to a problem where wandering eyes look for another way to find that. And we see this quite a bit with individuals who might not physically cheat, but emotionally cheat on a spouse, where they find a friend of the opposite sex and they meet all of their emotional needs. So again, these are weaknesses. These are cracks within the foundation of marriage itself. So with these frustrations come multiple of things. Sometimes the conjugal act lacks unitive bonding. Again, maybe too much passion. Impotency in producing children can lead to estrangement. Different sexual appetites. So individuals might be at a higher level of passion than the other at different times. Others might enter into, who knows, potential perversions. Closure to procreate. One might suddenly decide they don't want children, even though it was discussed prior to the marriage. Loss of attraction to the spouse, which is stemming from a lot of these problems. And again, any imbalance that we find on Sternberg's triangle that doesn't allow the three elements of love to flow and naturally react with each other. So we look at Sternberg's triangle and we see multitudes of frustrations come out from this. How one expresses love, but also finances and lavish spending. Maybe an individual isn't finding love, so they start finding a hobby and they spend and spend and spend on this, or they go shopping. Loss of a job, unequal burdens, a death in the family, especially a child, illness, anger, drug abuse, and drinking. They can all pour out from this lack of perfect love that is needed in marriage and put strains on a Christian marriage. And individuals then begin to see an unequally yoked union, and they begin to forget about the vow of better or worse or death to it part. And they fall victim to today's society's idea of just replace it. Don't try to fix it itself. So instead, Christian families need to find that balance. That the Christian couple needs to find that balance of love. and see where it is lacking. They need to turn to the inspiration of the Holy Family, where Mary, Joseph, and Jesus come together, and how those three show how a perfect union of respect and love exists. Now, obviously, when issues arise, Christian counselors need, and even marriage and family therapists know this, they need to look to the Holy Spirit, and they need to look to the Holy Family as inspiration to help, but they also need to look at a psychological view, not just a spiritual. They need to turn to Sternberg's triangle and try to see which aspect of love is lacking, where one of the spouse is and where one of the spouse may not be, and try to get them to understand what is lacking in this triangle of love, so that that can be repaired, and then all the peripheral noise, financial problems, or various issues and burdens that are surrounding the family become less noise, and the love itself can overcome everything. So communication in therapy is key. Reflective listening, narrative therapy, having the couple identify feelings and problems within that triangle, and then to have each other show gratitude for the little things and understanding each other's body language. And that leads to mutual respect. And again, that goes back to the Holy Family and how they treated each other, Joseph and Mary. While Joseph and Mary had a special relationship, which was different than many married couples, they still had a relationship, though, that had mutual respect in the fact that they were together to bring up and to give the world the incarnate Word, Jesus Christ himself. We offer at AIHCP a Christian counseling certification. The link is below. Our number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@aihcp.org. So I hope Sternberg's triangle helps a little from a psychological standpoint to help find the core of the problem for most married couples, and to help them understand and communicate with each other to see what is lacking so that a new balance can be formed. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.